StreamYard cannot allow me to play my intro because I have to pay in order to play it, so just imagine the intro going in your head. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Superman is officially in theaters, and it is time to talk some spoilers. And I've got some great people on to talk about that with me. First up from 3D Movie Cinema is Jacob Collins. Jacob, how are you?
I'm just saying, this is the worst piece of shit ever made. I'm angry. I'm sad. Restore the Snyderverse, guys. I hated this movie.
Yeah, what gave it away?
Fire
Your name was
James
Restore the Snyderverse.
Typical Snyder supporter.
Snyder Bros.
Snyder Bro.
Matt Wyatt,
Let me
how
put
are
my
you?
Snyder Bro glasses on. I think I view one of my sites.
Matt Wyatt, how are you?
Doing great. I'm so excited to get into the nitty gritty of Superman.
Yeah, and joining us tonight is someone who I had on the channel a couple years back to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I'm so happy to have him back on. It is, well, I don't want to call him the other Ryan, but it's also named Ryan. Ryan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, other Ryan. We can refer to me as Big Dick Chuck for this episode, just because I just thought it rhymed off the top of my head. But no, dude, when you said 2 years and the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, that instantly just brought a smile to my face because the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is way better than Spider-Man 3. But I'll save that argument for another day.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here and talking Superman with you guys. It's good to actually talk good about a DC film for fucking change, at least in my eye. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
For sure.
We got Bryson Flowers here. Hello, Bryson. Yeah, DC's better than Marvel. Just kidding. And Jeremiah Bach is here. Hello, Jeremiah. Since I have no desire to be spoiled for Superman, I seem to be in the wrong place. Yes, you are. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, this is the spoiler discussion stream. We're going to be talking about this movie, like, warts and all. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough. Myself, Matt, and Jake, we have spoiler-free reviews on our respective channels. Do go and check those out if you are so inclined. But we are going to be talking about everything from this movie. So if you don't want to know, please leave now. But if you're here to stay, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I don't really know where to start. So I guess I'll just start with the opening, how just Superman just takes a header directly into the ice, and then we see the Fortress of Solitude, and then he gets healed up by the sun. I love that whole sequence. It does play into what I said in my spoiler-free reviews, that the first 20 minutes are kind of rocky for me. I wasn't a huge fan. It wasn't up until a certain video is played where it was rocky, but then that video plays and it's like, all right, we are hitting the ground running. And then it just gets so incredibly good from there. Jake, let's say choose my option.
You know
Jake,
what?
go
I'll
ahead.
say it. So I like how it started, though. I like how, the opening cap, the opening crawl, whatever, when it says the world was introduced to metahumans. I like that because what it reminded me of? It reminded me of War for the Planet of the Apes and how the beginning of the movie starts with words. It just reminded me of that, how it's trying to explain, how everything happened. I thought that's what it reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, I like this, the captions. At first, when I heard about it, I'm like, this, because everybody's like, oh, it's like a Star Wars-esque scroll, and I'm like, I swear to God, I'd be mad if they do just the words in the sky. I'm like, they just did the way they did. I liked how James Gunn did it. To be fair, I'm glad they didn't do the cliche thing of him landing on the ice, going, "Oh, you're wondering how I got here." Well, let's rewind the clocks back.
They didn't do the Deadpool thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad they.
Which I do agree. I did love that opening crawl text. It just set up the idea that the metahumans have existed for over 3 centuries. He did every 3 of that round number. 300 years, the metahumans have existed. 30 years ago, a baby have crash landed on Earth and raised by the Kent family. Then 3 years ago, he announced himself to the world as Superman. 3 weeks ago, he stopped a war. And then 3 hours ago, he lost a fight against the Bravia. And then 3 minutes ago, here he is. This is the first time he lost a fight. And we were always wondering, who the hell was that the guy in the suit who was able to beat Superman? Because James Gunn like mentioned in the beginning that he is the most powerful metahuman of all, and this is the first time in the past 3 years that he's lost the battle, and we were always wondering how the hell that happened until the beginning when he's flying back into Metropolis trying to do the whole rematch against Bravia, which it revealed when he was going through that portal of that pocket dimension, and then takes his helmet off. It was Ultraman under that Bravia suit.
It's
Yeah, I guess
Luthor
I'll
and
be
the
the.
theme.
No, Ryan, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a theme throughout the movie where Lex Luthor is not necessarily putting his thumb on the scale, but his whole fist on the scale.
Literally punching that shit right in the face.
Why
I guess
not?
I'll be the stickler on this one. I think as far as like setting up the world, I think he did a good job. I like the text scroll. It gives you all of the info you really need when Superman got here on the planet, when he was known to the world, and when everyone else outside of Superman really came into existence. And that's all you really need. But I was kind of disappointed that we kind of just got the ending of a really cool fight. I would have much enjoyed seeing the fight as like the introduction to Superman and watching him get defeat rather him just like kind of flying in and then getting pulled to just being restored by the sun. I think it would have helped set up Ultraman a little bit better because I found him to be at least the weakest part. I mean, I don't really think that means a whole much because I think he's set up to be like Bizarro. At least for me, you never know James Gunn. He might just pull a switch. But I just found the villains outside of Lex Luthor to be underwhelming. And I think they could have used that as like a good setup for a film that's relatively short in context to what films and superhero films have been recently, because I think this clocks in at like an hour and 57 with credits. So I think a 10-minute opening fight sequence, especially in the really cool shot design and like the way James Gunn shoots it, I thought that would have been interesting, at least a little bit more preferable than watching them get like sucked up in a little time vortex stream into a black hole. But that's just me. I do like the setup of the world though, and just getting us in it because I know that's where this film loses people is like, oh, you didn't set this up. I would have liked to see more Lois Lane or more of the parents. It's like if you wanted this, you're gonna have to get more of an origin. But if you get more of an origin, you're gonna complain that you didn't get enough of the things that would have not made it an origin. Mm-hmm. So it's really where you lie at the end of the day. And you know what? I'm a big Man of Steel supporter, and I think that kind of gives me exactly what I want. The darker tone, but sets up exactly who Superman is. But I really like the take on who James Gunn perceives Superman to be and how he perceives Superman to be to himself.
To piggyback on what you said.
Oh, no, go on, Ryan.
To piggyback on what Ryan just said, the James Gunn effect really is going to be, I think, a bit of a deal breaker for some people, and I can't necessarily blame them for that. I loved it, but there will be some who are not a fan. Like the scene with the robots where it's like, I wish I could feel sorry for you, but I cannot as I am a robot, or I butchered that quote and I'm sorry. But that whole thing of like, so it's robots, get it? I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be the Superman movie, is it? And there's actually some really good moments with the robots later on, like when you see after Lex and crew attack the fortress, and then you see the one robot stabbing itself in the head because and then the robot dies. It's number 4. Like that part was great, but at first I'm like, oh, please don't tell me this is going to be the humor. And there's some of that, but it somehow gets better the movie goes on, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. To piggyback on what the other Ryan is saying about the not showing the fight off screen, I felt like it worked because we know that he was the most invincible character on the planet, and we were all shocked. Like, hey, this is the first time he's ever lost a fight and swooped down in the snow. Because if you just go back and show it the fight twice, it's just like, why do you need to show it twice? He gets his ass kicked the second time, and the only reason he was that Ultraman was able to get the upper advantage because that's the clone of Superman. And Lex was able to get the advantage because he studied his fight patterns for 3 years. He's the one under the control by Lex, and that's how he was managed to beat him. And when you go into the third act, when he's doing his final match against his own self, And when Krypto destroys the drones, that camera that Lex is monitoring and controlling that fight from Ultraman, this is when Superman actually beats him and gets the upper advantage. A lot of people bitch and complain that he is, oh, they made him weak. They made him a weak Superman. Like, no, they didn't. You clearly weren't paying attention to the movie. That's not what happened. He would manage to fight the fucking kaiju, no problem. The Raptors from Lex's Goons, no problem. Fucking kick their asses and knock the wind out of them with their heat vision. And then the third time, the engineer, without Ultraman getting involved, he fucking put her down in the ground saying, it's not too late. He was able to beat her in the fight until fucking Ultraman swooped in, knocked the wind out of him. And it just shows you, like, no, he's not. And you want Superman to have faced the ultimate challenge in his career, in his life. Because without his challenge, what's the point about telling the story? Where's the struggle?
Well, I was gonna piggyback off what Matt said, where I told you guys off camera, but I'm gonna tell Big Dick Chuck here that literally that whenever when I was telling him, I said it reminded me like this Superman is not yet at his full potential yet. It's kind of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the Homecoming trilogy, where essentially he's not yet Spider-Man. He doesn't really become Spider-Man until the third movie. So I essentially see this as he's not yet Superman. He's just in becoming the training, kind of like miniaturized Smallville-esque thing, where he's like, the Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man effect, where he's not yet the full. I think by the third movie, he might be the Superman that's like, I could take on anybody. I don't need anybody's help. I can handle it.
Well, I'm going to have to be on the opposite side. I don't think that that's what happened. He's already Superman. He already reached his full potential. He just doesn't fully know about his whole family and this whole situation, but he's already reached the full potential. It was clear. He is the powerful being on the planet. He was only able to get his ass kicked a few times by Ultraman, by his clone, who is as powerful as him. And that's why he was able to face a challenge, because no one was able to beat him in the fight. Nobody.
Yeah. So, a couple comments before we continue. It's great to be talking about any superhero films. So excited as getting actual good reviews. That's true. It's been far too long since that happened. And bye for now. Good to see you. It's extremely brief. I must protect my ears. Yeah, well, please do protect your ears. Protect your ears.
By the way, it's nice to see a Superman that doesn't when actually wants to save people, rather than just like with fighting somebody. It's like, fuck this building.
Yeah, but also when he was fighting the kaiju, he even told Mr. Terrific, like, I got to find some way to like knock him out and try to take him into to study him. And then he's been too busy trying to save as many civilians without causing huge collateral damage.
Even a squirrel, squirrel.
That's how much he really cares. He cares about every living thing, no matter if you're human or not. He cares.
And I'm teasing, like, I love Man of Steel. Like, Man of Steel is amazing.
I'm a big defender of Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is my favorite still. Like, even this week, I said it's still my favorite. Because I said, Man of Steel is like A+.
I still consider it as my favorite Superman movie.
But like I said, the thing is also this Superman actually smiles, and you don't think about it. He's not one bad day away from becoming Homelander from The Boys.
I don't agree with that comparison. I think he was more of one bad day away from being Omni-Man. That's what I would compare. Like, Homelander, not so much. That's a little far reach.
Well, kind of going off of the kaiju scene, I think that's a good place to talk about. Brother Ryan, what is your thoughts on the name of and the the compilation of the Justice Gang? I do not like the name, but I do like
Here's the thing: nobody did. Guy Gardner was the only one who liked that name. He's like, no, we're not calling ourselves. We don't call ourselves the Justice Gang. It's a working title. We don't call ourselves.
It sounds like a content house. Like, it sounds like one of those YouTuber houses that like live in LA and they do prank videos and they're all annoying.
It's like a YouTuber. It's like a content creator that would name themselves the Justice Gang.
It goes to what you were saying before, Matt, though. Like, or no, Ryan, you said this about how this film is very much for like gonna divide people on James Gunn. Like, this is a very James Gunn film, and like the Justice Gang is very much a James Gunn joke, and it's a joke that is hammered in throughout the entire film, making dick jokes. They all kind of hate each other, but they all respect each other at the same time. But like, they're just a shitty version of what's going to be the Justice League. Like, this is all exactly James Gunn. And I love it. And I understand it's not for everybody. And I'll sit here and say I don't think it really worked for the entire film. There was moments that I just kind of sat there and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Like, I don't remember her character, but like Jimmy Olsen, like I really like.
Oh, are you talking about Tessmacher? Are you talking
Yeah.
about Miss Tessmacher?
Yeah, like I really thought that whole part of the story was stupid, and I get
It's
why
silly. It is silly,
I
but,
thought it was
really
like-
think about it. She's the reason why Lex is now
No.
behind bars. That
Yeah,
was kind of
I
really
get
think
it.
about
It's
it.
impactful to the story, but it's just the whole story itself, outside of the Lex aspect, just entirely bothered me. Like, I don't believe and sit here for a second like this is another James Gunn part of the story where Jimmy Olsen's just like this fucking baller who gets these like babes.
Yeah,
Like,
what is
you know,
up with
I
that?
did not go into this film thinking that I'd see girls thirsting over Jimmy Olsen the entire film.
He's Will Ferrell from The Other Guys. What is with you and hot ladies?
Dude, it literally, and I literally sat there like when they revealed like their
Even Lois
relationship.
said, like, how did you do it, Jimmy? How's this possible? I don't get it.
But I feel like that falls in line and vein of like James Gunn. Like, I feel like his wife is very out of his league, or at least I've seen a lot of comments underneath his Instagram post describing that. So I think it's touching. Like, everything he does is with intention, and so like he derives it from his own life, his own experiences. And I know people like to comment about his relationship because of her role in Peacemaker. So I get the reason for it. I just don't think it particularly worked, and I didn't really think it was funny for most of the film. But I like the actor that played Jimmy Olsen. I think he's a great actor. I don't know
he
his
was great.
name, but
Oh,
really
Yeah,
funny.
Skylar,
Great casting.
He was
Skylar,
the one in Vacation. Yeah,
Skylar
Skylar.
Diaz.
Yeah, he was the only good part in that film. Only good
He was in
part.
Santa Clara Diet from Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant from that
Forgot
Netflix
about
show.
that.
I
to,
will s-
me, to me, he will always be Gideon Gemstone from the Righteous Gemstones.
I gotta watch that show.
I will say I did enjoy the part where Miss Tessmacher was like, "Lex is torturing dogs," and he goes, "Oh my god!"
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Well, because he does that dorky like voice break so well too. Like that's the thing is I think James Gunn just casted the fuck out of this film. like
It's
like,
James
that-
Gunn.
that's the
Like,
best way to put it.
he does no wrong when it comes to casting.
Like Perry White is played by Wendell Pierce, who who is that?
Banger.
He's McNulty's partner in The Wire, and I was like, oh my god, that's McNulty's partner.
I remember
can't think of his
him
name right
in
now.
Horrible Bosses. He was in Horrible Bosses.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's too.
I forgot he was in that.
Did you know that he was actually in Thunderbolts that played the senator? He played the
Yeah.
senator
yeah,
in
yeah,
Thunderbolts.
yeah,
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and
Oh,
and he
wow.
also voiced Lex Luthor in the Harley Quinn show. He
I
was the
heard about
replay. He was recast because Lance Reddick passed away because he originally voiced Lex Luthor in the Harley Quinn show, and then Wendell Pierce came in and replaced him.
Replacing one Wire actor with another.
I wanted,
yeah, right.
I wanted to ask the other Ryan that what did you think of Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor?
Ooh, this is where I think we're gonna start getting into some arguments. I'm not sold on him. I liked bits and pieces, but overall, I wasn't a big fan. I liked it. Like, I much rather watch Nicholas Holt than Jesse Eisenberg. I'm not gonna sit here and not say that because I know people are thinking like, oh man, you'd rather see Jesse Eisenberg with his like fucking woke tech billionaire persona. Like, no, guys, that's not what I'm saying. But like, I just thought his character and like what he did was just kind of inconsistent in the film. And I know you touched on it before, Matt, how people were like, oh, he's whiny. I get the arguments, and I'm not saying like that's my argument towards it, but his character fluctuates from like being kind of a whiny baby to being this ruthless killer to just like dropping someone. And then the whole time, Superman just kind of doesn't ever like bat an eye towards him. And I feel like that's ultimately my discrepancy with their relationship too, is I don't feel like Superman views him as this big threat, but Lex Luthor knows himself to be this big threat. And I know as a viewer he can be, but we're starting in a timeline where they're supposed to be at odds with each other, and it feels like a very year one, 6 month type of relationship. And for me, I was kind of left confused the entire time, and it goes into like the Ultraman part of it. And what was the woman's name?
The engineer.
The
Yeah,
engineer.
the engineer.
Which she's supposed to be part of the anti-hero team of the Authority from comic books, and it was supposed to be a film that they were in development for the DCU.
Yeah, like so many of those, like all of the villains, I just thought either cut them down and give Lex Luthor the full-on scope, because all of a sudden then they write Metamorpho in the middle of the story because you need kryptonite in the film.
Yeah, because they even Rick Flag mentioned that there's not kryptonite left on the planet, and Lex has someone who can actually manifest kryptonite, which is Metamorpho in that prison.
Like, for me, that's just so fucking convenient.
But I must say though, like if you think about his character personality, it's almost like Anakin Skywalker's in the George Lucas trilogy, where he's like someone who is literally has those man-child kind of like things where he's growing into this villain role, where that's kind of the thing where he says that, because in the comics and even in like Smallville, he just really wants to be loved. That's the true thing Lex Luthor wants to do. He wants to be loved because no one ever loves him. And that's the thing. And the city loves him, and he thinks that. But then by the end of it, he loses everything. And that's the one thing aspect about Lex Luthor, even in the comics. The one thing he truly wants to be anything is be beloved.
And he wants to be the savior of the world, the first human, and the alien just coming here and just ruining his reputation of everything that he was planning to do. And he was raised without absence of love, and he wanted to be loved by people.
I understand the Anakin Skywalker comparison. My only argument is they had 2 more films to set that up, and I think the whole turn was the point of him being childish and the dark side kind of abusing that. And I wish if they use that, like if that's the true character motivation for like this Lex Luthor, I just wish it was a little bit more clear, because like I see what you're saying, and it just feels like he's like that in the beginning. And then he's just like kind of this controlled, ruthless, bloody, like he knows he's got it in the middle. And then he goes back to the ending when he finally knows he has him. He kind of breaks down when like, I don't feel like Superman outsmarted him at the end of the film. Like that, I don't know how to explain that part. It just kind of feels cheesy to have Crypto bite the bots, and then Superman just flies away, and then he's just like, he stands up and he's just like, "Hey Lex, I'm here to stop you." And then it's all very comic booky, and I like that aspect, but I just didn't find this Lex to be very threatening, and that's my issue. I want James Gunn to kind of clear up what version of Lex he showed in the film. I want either or. I want someone who wants the attention, that he's just dying to be wanted to be like Superman's arch nemesis, or just want him to be like the super calm collective, like, oops, I didn't realize like it was going to be the second bullet in the gun this time. Oh, well, yeah, see you tomorrow. That was fucking ruthless. And I thought, I was sitting there like, God damn. And then there was like not many more moments of that.
He was playing a Russian roulette.
Yeah, and the whole man, like him, like not thinking it was gonna happen on the second time. Like I thought that was crazy, and I just never felt like I got a moment to that caliber.
Well, and also kind of ruined it was whenever Crypto the Super Dog basically hulks him from the Avengers.
Yeah.
With Loki.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Basically,
but also after all the shit that he put him through, yeah, I don't blame him for going ruthless on Lex at that moment. Crypto was like, "You fucking bastard!"
Broke his arm.
Like, fuck him up.
One Lex moment in this movie that I love the concept of and the execution of, but I just like hated, and I think it was the desired response. Is that you see Crypto in that little like simulation where he's chasing the flying squirrels. And it's like, we'll get everything we need, and then we will put the varmint down. And I'm just like, what? Like that was just evil right there. That's
some evil
fury.
shit. bastard.
What do you guys think about whenever he kept just breaking? He knocked the coffee mug over, and it made all of his assistants were trying to pick it up.
He
He
did
does-
pick it
Knocks
up.
over one.
I love
I
that.
hate-
That
I
was
hated that.
I
That-
love that. I don't care. I love that. He loses his temper. It's like, pick
I
it
thought
up.
it was okay. That's just
And then he just drops it on purpose to get them to pick up the fucking pencils.
But like, see, that's like such a
petty.
petty thing that like I don't want my Lex Luthor to be like that petty. Like at least this far into his relationship and his dynamic with Superman, like this feels like a very year one type of thing, and I'm supposed to be sold on this is a built and developed universe when everything else around it does, but the central antagonist of what like I guess that's like another issue, not with the film, but like what I think going forward is I don't know what to expect going forward, especially when you look at the slate of like films and shows.
To be fair, they're not going to try to turn this into the MCU. They're not going to serialize it, the whole thing.
I
Because
mean,
James Gunn said that this movie is supposed to be a beginning, middle, and end, and not setting up where this is going to go. It was a conclusion of this movie, and then they'll do other DC projects that are going to be more different storylines. There's not going to be not like episode 2 or episode 3 in the season finale of Justice League. That's not going to be that type of movies and projects that you're going to. Every fucking projects are going to be standalone stories and stand on its own thing in the same universe.
Well, I'm not saying you need like an episode 1, 2, like that type of thing.
And also, this was the first time that Superman and Lex met first time face to face in the office when he bursts in demanding where's his fucking dog. Like this is the first time they actually met face to face.
See, that makes me think Lex is an even bigger bitch. Like, bro, you're talking all this shit online. Like, this is literally James Gunn directly talking to all the haters on Twitter. And seeing the monkeys, like, I hated that.
I thought that was hilarious. I find it very funny.
We have monkeys.
It was so on the nose that
super shit. Hashtag super shit.
I didn't hate it like it's like a negative towards
I know
film,
it's
but
goofy and
just
silly.
like,
It's
what
goofy
the
and silly.
fuck?
It's goofy and silly as
You know
shit.
why
But I don't know.
people
It worked for me.
That joke. They even put that joke just to tie into Peacemaker when he says Superman has a shit fetish.
That was the idea. No, because that's where Peacemaker gets all the fucking information of those fucking rumors. It's like saying Aquaman fucks a fish, or he has a poop fetish.
He's like, why do people think that? I'm just
like now we know behind the scenes, but now we know behind the scenes of who's saying all that shit about him.
Online trolling against Peacemaker's rated.
I'm so sick of the fucking rumor.
I just wish there was some piece or something, because I think there was like an article or quote something I saw earlier that the intention is to lead this to a Justice League film, which I don't think any of us is like shocked by. But if you're gonna have them all connect and lead somewhere, like I'm not like that's why I think the early version of the MCU works so well. Like I don't want to be in a post-credit scene twice for them both to be fucking useless jokes that aren't funny or like cool. I'm glad I'm seeing Superman and Krypto look at the fucking planet instead. Like at least at the beginning.
I want to interject for a minute about the post-credit scenes, because James Gunn made it clear in the interview that he's not going to use post-credit scenes as for the setup for any of the future movies. He's not going to do what Kevin Feige is doing. His principle is just, hey, we just want to put this there that we wanted to have a cute moment and have some funny moment. That's all we're going to do. Like if you don't want to sit through it, don't even sit through it, because they're not setting up anything. And he made that very clear on that. And even the mid-credit scenes in the episodes of Peacemaker season 1, those are there for the punchline. Those are the patterns that fucking James Gunn does in his mid-credit scenes.
Well, to be fair, James Gunn, like I think it wasn't him, but this is like from a third party. But from what like Daniel RPK was saying, that they said originally in the original test screenings there was a cameo for a Superman villain to appear, and they actually had casted Giancarlo Esposito to play that character in a post-credit scene. But James Gunn,
like I heard that.
Yeah, it's a Brainiac. Never had Brainiac in a post-credit scene.
I did hear that.
But dude, that would be so cool if he was cast as Brainiac. Like, I know they cut that out of the movie.
Said he doesn't want to set up because he might not use Brainiac in a sequel. And he said,
yeah.
When he made Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he hated that Marvel made him put Adam Warlock in.
The studio put Adam Warlock in that post-credit scene, which he did not want to have Adam Warlock at all.
But like that goes to my point though. Like if you're not like prepared to like set things up, why do you want to set up a universe? Why do you want a job to set all these things up? If one, you don't have an idea of what you want to do, or two, if you have an idea, why are you afraid to start like cementing it? Like start getting it going, because I know people are like, this is the start of the DCU, but we're already 2 projects in. I know a lot of people didn't watch Creature Commandos, but you know what? I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good 8-episode, 30-minute animated show. It was gritty, dirty, and it was a good time. It was a lot different from what Superman offered. But
For me personally, I'm kind of glad that they're not telling us too much of where it's going, because you don't want each movies to feel too predictable. Because he really wants to add more of the stakes and not going into the unknown, instead of just, oh yeah, you already know. Let's just say that Superman dies again early in this fucking movie, like BVS. Well, why are you going to kill him off when we know he's going to come back in Justice League? Where's the stakes in that? Because he made it clear, like, if you were going to kill off a character, they're going to stay fucking dead. And if you're going to bring back a character, we're going to tell a story around it. But he even made it clear, like, once they're dead, we make sure they stay dead. We're not trying to find any loopholes.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. But yeah, Matt. Here's the thing, though. When you're setting up, you should have like how Marvel did. Yeah.
But that's not what they're doing. He's world
But they
building
need
it.
to.
No, they don't need to. I feel like you're going a little bit far off of a reach here. They're not trying to follow the same formula what Marvel's doing. They're trying to break that. They're trying to make world building for each storylines. Like Gotham's a dark, gritty world. Metropolis is a lighthearted city. And it's going to be like the Westeros, like Game of Thrones and Star Wars. They want each projects to have their own standalone stories and not just trying to serialize this whole thing.
I will say, in your defense, he did have the Gods and Monsters thing planned out.
Yeah, the Gods and Monsters, they exist.
He keeps playing loosey-goosey with projects because he's like, well, we're going to make the Authority, but now we might not make the Authority.
But each of the projects are going to be like more of a comic book issue, because this is a love letter to comics.
It's the Guillermo del Toro school of, oh, I'm doing this. No, I'm not. No, I'm doing this. No, I'm not.
We're doing Sergeant Rock. No, we're not.
Well, who the fuck knows what's going to happen with this Batman movie? Like, that's more my thing. I look at the
Hollywood
slate.
Reporter said they don't believe it's going to happen. The Hollywood
Well, that's not. That's
the
the Hollywood Reporter. They don't know any information on that. They're just out there to get fucking hits. They're trying to spread the news first.
They like James Gunn, and they literally are usually like they are the ones that they give scoops to the trades. So like they're saying they don't believe you. That right there should be a problem.
And he's already set an amount of like how many of what's going to come out when. What is it, like 2 films a year, 1 film a year, and 2 shows or something like that? But that's his plan. And my argument is, if that's how many shows / movies he's going to do, he's already got Lanterns planned out. They're going to do a season 2 of Creature Commandos. They have Swamp Thing, Clayface, and Supergirl. When do you really start? Exactly. When do you start really laying the seeds for a Justice League film? When Marvel did that right out of the gate with Iron Man, 4 years.
Well, this was a different circumstances because the DC fans have given up on it, because they have been flopping every left and right with the DCEU movies. They were ready to tap out. Right now, let me finish. They're in the middle of a rehabilitation of trying to make sure to be careful what they're putting out. And their job is just trying to make the best movie possible and not try to overstate your welcome, not like overextend yourselves, because they don't want to do that. They did the same thing before James Gunn took over. They put out the fucking slates, and most of the stuff did not fucking happen. They got scrapped. They were in the middle of a fucking mess. There was no 8 to 10 year plan.
Hello, Ezra. Nice to see you.
Ryan was waiting for that.
There was no way to naturally.
But I mean, sorry. You know what? You know what? If this works, at the box office, I will say this: that if this movie drops on the second weekend bad, and the Fantastic Four wipes it out of the water, and this movie makes around $400 million, I guarantee you they will probably continue. But there's going to be a huge course correction, the same way what happened with Man of Steel, where they're probably going to say, you know what? Why don't we do like a Batman?
And also, they don't want to get in over their heads with their announcements until they actually know for sure that this is a guarantee that they're moving forward with it. If you do that, then people are it doesn't happen. They're going to get pissed off.
I'm just more worried that it's going to take so long to finally get to the point that people are going to lose interest.
2045 Justice League.
I'm all just saying, I'm all about just saying, hey,
Exactly.
make the fucking best
Exactly.
movies. I don't care
Exactly.
when are you going to do a
Like,
Justice
no.
League. I'm not in a hurry for it.
I don't disagree,
I
but when you tell me that it's leading up to a Justice League film, and then there was another quote I saw today that someone asked about a Superman 2, and then someone replied, what do you view as a Superman 2? Like, what the fuck do you mean? Of course they mean a sequel, bro. Like, you trying to say he's going to show up in like Batman Brave and the Bold, or Batman v Superman 2.0, whatever the fuck Batman's going to be, or like,
It seems like
I
he's going to do World's Finest next.
yeah.
Well,
and-
he did but he did say
that
that
just
he
seems
will.
like the
But he
plan
did
now.
say he will show up another DC project.
And I'm
That's
like,
that's all he
helping.
said.
You're not helping, by the way, when you say you're going to greenlight if the World's Finest might be your next project. You're not helping the comparisons to Zack Snyder.
Exactly.
Because then people are like, oh, he's going to do Justice. Oh, you're going to do Justice League next after that? You're like,
And then they what? Have a planned Wonder Woman show that doesn't involve Wonder Woman?
No, they do. They are developing a Wonder Woman movie. They even said that they're still developing that
They
movie.
said the
next.
Amazon show. They said
They did. No, they said they're in development. They haven't. They
Development.
finished the
They
script
haven't
yet.
finished
They
the
haven't
script.
moved forward with the whole like Paradise
I
Lost.
think that's going to happen.
Bryson,
Who knows? We'll wait.
Flowers-
Yeah, because no one asked for it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I feel like you're being
Uh,
way a little too pessimistic.
Well, let me just read Bryson's comment first. Back to the Future's ending could be seen as a setup for a sequel, but Robert Zemeckis says he didn't intend to make a trilogy. All were fine with the standalone in 1985. Why can't Superman do it?
Exactly.
It's-
Like that ending in the first Back to the Future, they never intended to do a sequel. That setup was just made for the punchline.
No, I'm not arguing like that's the problem. 'cause
I would
like
much
that.
rather have a beginning, middle, and end. Like I don't need. I have
This movie
one.
does not have a
I don't need a
beginning, middle,
beginning,
and end.
middle. Oh yeah, we're gonna set up in the next movie. You're gonna have to wait for the next one. Fuck that. Do a beginning, middle, and end. Concluded. Don't fucking just because. What if your plan doesn't go according to plan and you're gonna be a total reactionary? No, I'd rather have it give me a conclusion.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so now back to the movie itself. What'd you guys think about? What'd you guys think though about the Justice Gang itself? Like, what'd you guys think of Guy Gardner?
Well, I fucking
Like,
love them.
Yeah, he's
I
funny.
at first, I
Nathan
at first
Fillion's
was
great.
like, I at first wasn't super crazy about it, but then like they kind of grew on me. My favorite by far and away was Mr. Terrific. I had no
yeah.
expectations for this character at all, and by the end, I was like, this is like my second or third favorite character in this whole movie. The whole part where he's like, "We got work to do," and Superman's like, "I'm doing important stuff." Like it's especially funnier because now I can say the context of that. Superman tore his shoulder out of his socket, beating Ultraman, sending him to his home planet, I assume.
No,
via
his
a
pocket,
bus,
the whole pocket
literal-
dimension in the black hole.
via a bus, a literal bus. And Mr. Terrific's like, "What are you doing sitting around for?" We're like, "We
Quit
got
messing
work to do."
around.
Like, it's like the scene from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade where Indy pulls himself out of the pit.
Oh
And then,
yeah.
We still got to find the Grail. Come on. I was like,
And that's
God.
that was good. That was a good one. I like that.
I love
Who thinks that Man of Steel is peak? All of us.
Oh, all of us, of course.
I love it, but Peak, I don't know. Peak,
That's
I don't-
fair. That's fair. I did love the Mr. Terrific's tech when they were in the desert in the Lexus lab, and he was taking out a bunch of the goons in single shot 360 camera work. It almost reminded me of the flying arrow from Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. That felt exactly like that in that scene itself.
James Gunn copying his own homework on that one. And speaking of copying homework, the whole video scene, and I wanted to bring this up because Jake brought it up in our group chat. It's in the Smallville episode Rosetta. The whole message plays of "You were sent here to conquer Earth." So, or one of you guys brought it up. It was brought up. It wasn't me. So like that, I was like, you can tell James Gunn has watched Smallville at least once.
Yeah, of course he did. He took notes from Smallville.
He said it's called Luther Court because he's a Smallville fan. They asked him about that. He's like,
Oh yeah, he's a total Smallville fan, and even David Cornsweet said in the interview that his first introduction to Smallville was Tom Welling from Smallville. He grew up watching Smallville, and Nicholas Holt's first introduction to Lex Luthor was Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor from Smallville. So you could tell that most of the cast members, including James Gunn, they are huge Smallville fans. So there is a little bit of a reminiscent to that idea that James Gunn
Michael
implanted.
Rosenbaum was the voice of one of the Raptors.
Yeah, but that was the one scene where he beats the crap out of him, but that's not even in the movie. That was in the trailer, and they cut that out of the final cut. I mean, they did show it, and maybe I missed it. It was happening way too fast.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up before I did forget is that the message, the whole thing plays of, and it's been authenticated of like, you were sent here to conquer. I'm like, are they going to do a thing where like Lex doctored the footage? But they said several times it's real. So I hope they don't chicken out.
I do think that the second half was not authentic, but I think that Brainiac might have something to do with the whole message, like tweaking it in the second half of that message. And I think that that's going to be planting in from the sequel for Superman, but also from Supergirl's point of view, because she's the only one who has the memories of Krypton of her own family. She witnessed her own planet get destroyed. So I think that once we meet her, we're going to see from her point of view, because she's the only one who knows the real truth of her family. Yeah. And also, when you meet her at the end of the movie, she's all drunk and she's acting like a college fucking sorority girl. But let me finish. I know you were turned off by that scene. I thought that scene really worked, because if you paid attention to her face, her eye makeup would drip down. She's in tears and she's numbing the pain and she's drinking herself to death. And she's acting like a fun girl, but really she's in pain. She's filtering the pain, and that's pretty much authentic with most people go through a traumatic experience.
Which, you know what? I will say this though, you know, after I went back and started reading some of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and you know what? I will say this, okay? I will reserve judgment. I did, you know what? I was like harsh in that scene, but I will reserve judgment until after that movie comes out.
What is like that story about? I actually don't know.
It's like it's kind of like, I would say Logan in a way. It's kind of like a female version of Logan, I'm going to say.
What?
Yeah, like Supergirl's trying to protect the girl from like a warlord that's trying to kill her. And like, yeah, she has crypto.
Lobo. Jason Momoa, Aquaman 2. Lobo.
I don't know where Lobo comes in. Lobo's not in the comic. They said originally he was supposed to be. But
that's probably going to be.
Well, that's because they're taking. Well, it's not going to be a direct adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow. It's just going to be more taking influences from the comics from Woman of Tomorrow.
Protecting a little girl from a warlord, you know.
Well, one thing is for certain is that the Supergirl movie doesn't have that big of a bar to get over, because the last Supergirl movie was released in the 80s and it was terrible.
Yeah, remember that movie?
Where a witch is the main villain. A witch. I never even watched.
I didn't even watch that movie. I saw clips of it.
And Peter O'Toole eating the scenery like he's on the set of a David Lynch or a David Lean film. Excuse me.
I know we sit here and joke about that film, but it can still compete with modern day DC films for how bad they are. Like, they don't matter.
I'd rather watch Superman 4 over Supergirl any day. I watch Supergirl. Superman 4 is at least, it's bad, but at least it's fun to watch bad, you know? Because you have like him Superman going like, you know, it's basically, which by the way, there are a lot of ideas from Superman 4 in this movie. Of Superman intervening in a conflict, and then Lex Luthor's behind that conflict, and then on top of that, you had like, because of Superman's actions, something else has happened, you know. Which, by the way, you guys, when you watch the third act of this movie, didn't y'all get Superman Return vibes? Wherever, like, I was like watching. Remember in Superman Returns how like Metropolis is getting covered, and I'm like, are they really just copying Superman?
No, it's just the pocket universe getting split in half. That's all. That's what was happening. Yeah, shit had a reminiscent to it, but that was the whole point of it. He was just trying to make a land in Superman Returns. This one was not. That was just a diversion to get Superman lured here so that he can have the opportunity to kill him. Now that he had the authorization to do so, and also the henchmen, they're just the henchmen. They're just pawns in Lex Luthor's game. If you really look back, they're playing. He's playing a fucking chess piece on the board, and they're just the pawns.
I did like the fight scene at the end. Originally, I was just like, they only have one fight scene with the henchmen.
And they did not have one fight scene. They fought 3 times in the movie. They fought once off screen, then they fought the second time and he lost, and then third time they fought in the third act.
Well, I'm saying in the movie as of we have seen from what we've seen. Which, to be fair, I remember I said this to you, Matt. I said in X-Men the movie, you know, when they fight Mystique and the Sabretooth and the Statue of Liberty, that they fight scene, like literally, they don't really fight them until like the very end of the movie at the Statue
I
of
think
Liberty.
I think you just wanted more fight scenes. That's what your biggest
I mean,
issue.
when
Like,
I'm watching the movie,
that,
I
like,
would like
that was
to
just something
see
that you wish you wanted in that movie.
Which, I mean, I did like the fight scene though in like the movie where like because the engineer was just not letting up. She had like him just like when she was trying to capture him. And
That
then trying-
fight, that fight in the baseball stadium was great, and like
Oh,
how
it
they
was
try
awesome.
to kill Superman with the
The
I
nanites
don't
getting
wanna call it-
into his lungs,
I
and he
didn't
had to
get
go way up in the fucking space to and then drop down into the fucking earth and to try to knock the wind out of her, get the nanite out of his mouth, which I thought that was fucking awesome.
I thought that was great, especially the engineer was just KO'd after that. She was like,
Yeah, because without Ultraman, fucking engineer got her ass kicked by Superman.
I didn't like that they made Ultraman cross-eyed either. I'm like, what? Why is he cross-eyed?
Well, no, because he's not really. He's just a disfigured clone of Superman, but he's not. He even said that he doesn't have the brains. He's not that smart, which is kind of a bit of a tease of the birth of Bizarro, which I don't believe that this is going to be the last time we see this version of Ultraman. He gets stuck in the black hole. He gets fully disfigured, and now he has the different effect of the opposite of what Superman has these abilities, and we will see the birth of Bizarro in some point in the future.
All I know is all of them looked like a bunch of fucking idiots when he was flying up into the sky asking what he's doing. Like, bro, are you kidding me? Are you guys not like a room of like the world's smartest fucking people? And you can't tell me what Superman's doing with technology flying straight up into the sky with the atmosphere, you know, that freezes at a certain point. But I digress on that one. That really made me think about, oh, wow, now I know why Superman outsmarted you guys. You're all a bunch of fucking idiots.
Whenever he went back down, like Luthor's like, what is he doing? Then
yeah, I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean what he's doing? Like,
what is he doing? And then when he went down, like that's when he was about to hit the ground. He's like, it tells the engineer, he's like, wait. Then they hit the ground. I'm like,
I'm just sitting here like, this is a disaster. Of course you guys fucking lost. Like, of course you guys lost to a fucking bimbo taking selfies of herself. Like, you guys are idiots.
It was funny that he threw something at her and she went out to get out, and then she goes and cries and she's on the phone, and then Ultraman's just sitting there with a donut, just listening, and then goes and gets back. Which I'm like, my biggest issue is how did he can't talk? How did he tell
He's not smart, but he's not smart either. He's under control by Luthor.
Did you do this?
They just got hand signals, like, yeah, like what the fuck?
Lex is like, like I seen in Austin Powers where like they're mouthing like when Austin Powers goes, he was like, fire the laser beam.
So before this, I mean, Ryan, please finish.
No. It was not even a thought. Go ahead.
I was gonna, before I forget, and like this stream, like before I forget this stream, I wanted to bring up the two scenes that nearly made me cry, like actual tears. Like the first one is after everything goes down, the video gets released, Superman's being dragged through the mud. He has the cocoa. He's like, I went looking for Krypto and that whole thing. And he goes to turn himself in. And like that whole scene in the apartment was just, I thought that was just so beautiful. And then the scene on the bench in Smallville with Pa Kent. I was so afraid when the Kents showed up because like Ma Kent was like, I wanted to say hello, like with the phone, and like Pa Kent was just sitting there like, tell him to eat his vegetables or whatever. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like you. But that whole scene where Pa Kent says that line is like, I couldn't be more proud. That meant something to me. I loved that with all of my heart.
Yeah, I love that when he was telling Clark, it's like, dude, we don't always have parents tell their sons who they're supposed to be. We can only give them the tools. And I love that. I mean, it just shows that you don't need your birth parents to tell you who you're supposed to be. Your choice and your actions is what makes you who you are. And I could not be more proud of you. That just shows that one of the most pivotal moments to Superman's humanity, that he made the choice to want to care for humanity and not something that what his birth parents have set him out to be or what he was destined to be. This was like the most relatable Superman character we haven't had in a long time, really. I mean, another pivotal moment, well, going back to what Ryan had said about in this apartment, I'm going to turn myself in, and that's where Crypto may be. He may not be as good of a dog, but he's out there alone, and that really fucking like hit me on an emotional level as someone who has a dog myself. He's not the greatest dog; he's the worst dog, but I still love him, and he's out there alone.
Matt, to kind of go off your point, I think the distinction with this film from all the others outside of like the original Donner movie is you can say all the issues you want. Like I can sit here and be like, bro, this Lex Luthor didn't like was kind of whack. Like the structure didn't really work for me. But the thing that the film and James Gunn I think gets ultimately correct is like Superman himself. Like what I think he gave Superman another meaning in a whole different way, and I think that's why, at least the whole time I was sitting there, like I was just waiting for them to tell me that the message wasn't true. Like for some reason, I still don't believe it, and I noticed today. I noticed that there's like a subgroup of people on the internet that actually believe that it's not true, and like it's all still like a myth that the film never fully wraps and tells you. Like there's people that believe that, so I think it's a really weird way to go about it, but like it truly is what like Superman is. And if we're talking about like moments that we love, Ma Kent moments great and all, but outside of the Lois and Superman moment at the end, I really love the moment where he saves the building from falling on the woman in the car.
Yeah, love that.
And then you see him levitating with the sun behind him. So I might sound like a motherfucker for this, but I don't like get teary-eyed or like it takes a lot for me to get emotional for a film, especially for like a superhero film. Like I'm not going to sit here and say like these are like Oscar Martin Scorsese films in terms of storytelling level, but you know a fucking comic book film can get you emotional is really good when, man, I sat there watching that moment like, wow, bro, I this is fucking Superman, and this is the encapsule of what he means, and like a totally different understanding of what not James Gunn was going to do, but Zack Snyder was trying to do. Whoever fucking made the Superman Returns movie, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer.
There's a reason why I forgot that name. Anyone that isn't named Donner, I think truly understands it. And it really got me emotional because it's just a beautiful moment. And it truly is what makes it like, I might go see this fucking film again tomorrow because damn, it's just so good. And I think that's really what gives the film its strides, in my opinion, and just kind of overlays all of like the negatives in my eyes.
Oh, I saw it again a second time and I loved it a lot more. I felt so much better the second time. Now I know, and I'm probably going to see it the third time. I'm going to see it many more times. The only negative gripe that I had with the movie, as much as I loved it, I felt like it was too short. I felt like it needed to add a little bit, 20 more minutes, and I wanted to get to know a little bit more of the Daily Planet crew, because they didn't have as much screen time in the movie that I was expecting. But it doesn't matter. The more I watch it, the better it gets. I love the ending of that scene where he's laying down on that chair, watching his footage. Because in the beginning, every time he has the relaxation that soothes him, and they play the footage of the message of Jor-El and Laura, his birth parents, and what he thought that they send him here to do to serve humanity. Now that from his point of view, from what he believes that he was out there to hurt people, but now he knows that he chose to be the hero and want to care for humanity, and everything who he was his adopted parents. Those were his real parents that took him in and nurture him and care for him and taught him the lessons of morality and all that stuff. And he plays the footage of his adopted parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent. And I thought that really brought so much joy and felt very fulfilling for me watching that ending.
To quote Vin Diesel, family is the most important.
I don't have I don't have friends. I have family.
Bryson says, I thought James Gunn only made 2 Scooby-Doo movies and 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies and retired. You for me to seem like he made a good return. And
hey, don't forget about Slither.
Slither,
Yeah, well,
the Suicide Squad.
speaking of,
Matt's favorite movie, Super.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
I forgot about.
He hates Super. I thought it was awesome.
It's so dumb. It is so dumb.
I mean, like, I hate to say it though, that shit's come to life. I literally was scrolling like fucking Instagram today, and I'm seeing people like promoting like I'm your new superhero. Like they're calling themselves like badass chick, and like shit. Like these are actual people putting themselves out there with their faces and saying they're running around like the boroughs of New York looking for crime. And the whole time I'm thinking about like Jackass, fucking Super. I'm like, dude, what?
I think you were talking about Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
Like,
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, Kick-Ass, not Jackass.
Let's say
Kick-Ass.
Jackass.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah,
Look
no,
at
no,
Jackass. We're gonna
Yeah,
fuck some
Kick-Ass.
civilians, fuck some people
What
up.
episode you
All right.
watch?
Fuck some people up, fuck some people up.
Oh, you
I'm
talking
Johnny
about
Knoxville. We're going to fight those criminals.
We
over
made
there.
we actually made that joke that Jackass from Superman 3 where Richard Pryor was fucking like slitting on the off the fucking rooftop and he somehow he survives and he fucking planted that clip and voiceover with Johnny Knoxville. This is Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Literally,
If
my
you watch
favorite-
Superman 3,
Right.
you get the reference.
I had like a Johnny Knoxville voice come in my head once. The moment I saw Bradley Cooper's Jor-El, I like I had Johnny Knoxville, like his snort laugh, like the, I can't even do it, but like that's what I did. I verbally out loud. I was like, like, and then I stumbled my tin and I just laid back like this. I just could not believe. Like it's like such a joke that I love in the best way possible because it's so stupid to have Bradley Cooper casted as Jor-El, and I don't know why, but that's really stuck with me. Like of all things in the film, that stuck with me.
He's gonna call on the phone and be like, "Kira, I lost Kal-El. We really fucked up. I lost Kal-El."
Bradley Cooper's like, "Oh wait, Rocket's not in the next Avengers film. Fuck."
My fave DC movie is either Blue Beetle or the Batman, and
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know that. I
Damn,
didn't know that James Gunn helped with
just
Scooby
outed
Doo too.
myself there.
No, Ezra he wrote the screenplay for it. It was directed by Raja Gosnell, who I mean, is very
He
bad
wrote
at
them.
it.
He didn't really direct them.
Bro, people
No.
never talk about his amazing script for Dawn of the Dead, and I don't even
Yeah,
mean
and
that
which
as a joke.
Zack
I
Snyder
don't even
did
mean that as a
direct.
joke. Which is always the most ironic joke of all time, right?
Yeah,
Like the moment James Gunn got the job, I just sat there and laughed, and I'm like, you'll never make this up one day. In like 15 years from now, we'll be like the guy who wrote the film for a remake for one of the most notorious zombie films of all time, or the most well-known zombie films of all time, took the job from the guy who directed the film that he wrote. Like, I don't mean take like he did it, but like just for the issue of the story, like it's just funny, right? Like how things just swap like that in history. Fuck, dude, that's crazy.
Which I heard he said what he used to do in an interview recently. He's like, Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 were not really his movies. He says I wrote scripts, but they were just like, they have other writers come in and do uncredited rewrites of it because they said my script was too mature, and so they wanted to tone it down. And
Yeah.
he said he did the second one though. He said he did a draft and then he went and worked on Dawn of the Dead, and then they would come in and they did a script polish on it. And he says he really wishes they would have took his name off.
I don't know, dude. Scooby-Doo 2 fucking rocks. I don't know what he's talking about.
like I'm critical of my own work on my channel, so I can see where he's coming from, and I wasn't there, but Scooby-Doo 2 is a big guilty pleasure for me. Like, just I love that 1 and 2. The villain in
I liked
that
one.
movie,
I liked one. I'm not too crazy about the second one.
Me too. I was like,
I was like, it was fine.
Can I ask you guys a question?
What?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
we were, since we're talking about like Zack Snyder's filmography, and like it's kind of fucking weird through horror comedy, superhero comedy, and all this stuff. Now that he's doing all this DC shit, he's made Superman, he's doing Peacemaker and Creature Commandos. What's next for him? Like,
I think-
what does he do?
My takeaway for this one, like his job was just to try to establish this new DCU, starting with Superman as the true beginning, and then he's gonna let other directors take on other projects and do their own thing and have their own style and vision, and he's just gonna be taking a step back out of the director's chair as a creative officer at DC, for making creative decisions. But he's still gonna be heavily involved in these projects, but he won't be too hands on, if that makes any sense.
I agree. I just think Superman's going to be the seed child for him. And anywhere Superman's involved, he is going to be writing Superman.
But
And
I
that's
will say,
kinda
but
how
I will
I
say
view
that's
it.
up to him, because DC and Warner Brothers are completely separate
That's what
studio.
makes me think. That's what
That means
makes me
he has
think-
to say of what projects should go.
That's what makes. I think anything where Superman's involved, he's going to want to have like full control of.
But did you
of what
notice? Did you know?
happens
But
and
did you
what
notice at the
writes.
beginning of that intro when they played DC, they did not show the Warner Brothers intro.
Oh,
They did not play
I
the
actually
intro.
Did not notice that.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
should-
noticed it when I watched it the second time. Like, there's no Warner
That's
Brothers
interesting.
intro. They kind of did.
I like
they're kind of playing off the idea, because this is a separate studio, kind of like with Disney. The Disney are the distribution,
Oh,
but
no,
Marvel
it's-
Studios are separate. Same thing with Lucasfilm and Pixar.
And he was interviewing, and he was being interviewed. That he said that he says that he isn't overseeing he's overseeing DC, but he said Matt Reeves is overseeing all the Batman universe, everything from his universe and everything Batman related in the DC
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, that will all be his for the DCU's Batman.
Yeah, so
and
Matt,
Robert,
so even in
the
this
Matt Reeves' version are
universe, Matt
separate,
Reeves
they're
is
completely
overseeing-
separate in its own thing.
Matt Reeves is overseeing, which I'm like, that's going to be awkward, especially when whenever the script comes in. If they
Well, no,
if
the
they-
script came in. He
Brave and the
read the
Ball.
script. He actually read the script and said
I'm
it's
talking about
great.
for the Brave and the Ball.
Of course he's gonna say it's
No,
great. He said the
no.
fucking Flash was the best film of all time. I don't believe this man, bro. Get out of here. Once I saw the Flash, I threw my popcorn on the floor and I fucking rioted.
I agree with you. Flash was shit. I was
Absolutely,
angry.
dude. One of the worst.
I'm
films of
I'm a
all
defender
time.
of
was the
that
only one
movie.
liked
It's
this
not.
movie
I
in
didn't
this
think.
group.
I didn't think it was the greatest
only
movie
one.
of all.
Me and Matt Ryan hated it. Like, it's a piece.
I
of
didn't.
shit.
I did not hate the
It's a-
movie. I don't think it.
Ezra-
I think it was a really good movie, but I know that it had a lot of issues with
Yeah,
it. I'm not
yeah,
gonna say.
Ezra
Even,
Miller
I'm not
just
saying it's the
went around.
greatest fucking superhero movie of all time.
Ezra-
I don't
I
understand
just-
why he
as-
chose to portray the Flash like Simple Jack in that movie. I don't understand.
Okay, that's a little bit of a far reach comparison.
I thought the same thing, bro. Like that bowl cut's not fucking it. Like, get out of here.
Like the younger version.
Ezra comments. Ezra comments. I wonder if Zack Snyder
Oh my
would
God,
make
it's
some
a
Star
Wilson.
Wars movies. He made sci-fi. It's called Rebel Moon, and I can
Yeah,
say
watch
it in
Rebel
one
Moon.
word.
That's his
No,
version.
don't watch Rebel Moon. Don't.
That is his version.
We're saying that sarcastically.
That is literally Zack
Not
Snyder
even
said he wanted a
sarcastic.
Star
Don't
Wars
scare
movie, and they
people
said
like
no.
First of all, like I highly doubt that he's going to make a Star Wars movie. I don't think Lucasfilm
He's
has
already
any intention
made-
hiring Zack Snyder to do it.
He's already made 2, so it's fine.
What's right now? He's back at Warner Brothers again, writing a 300 sequel. Or
Yeah, yeah.
Is he?
Which I still haven't heard from it since.
yeah, it's supposed to be a TV series for HBO Max, and he's going to direct several episodes and executive produce.
Yeah. So he'll probably be labeled as an executive producer and probably direct a few episodes on that show.
Which I'm
Dark
just saying
Room,
this: as long as he doesn't write
Rebel
it, if
Moon
he doesn't
is-
write it,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not-
Rebel Moon.
He's only best when not is directing. Right, screenwriting, not so much.
Let someone else write it. You just direct it.
I can't.
Rebel
I just.
Moon is the biggest waste of time.
It's just hard
No
to
doubt.
believe that people like think this man can world build.
He's a good
For Zack
director.
Snyder?
He's a terrible writer.
No, he cannot do world build. And like I'll tell you this right now, he's only best when he's doing
So bad.
adaptations. No, because he's only the best. His best strength is doing fucking comic book adaptations. That's where he's best at. But when he's trying to do original films and trying to make his own little universe of himself, he fucking fails spectacularly. When he tried to do Army of the Dead and he tried to do his own shared
I was
universe on
so
that, and that fucking went nowhere.
I was like so angry because I'm like, this is terrible.
Like it was not that good.
And I really hate it looking back because at least looking at Man of Steel, especially most comparisons with right now, is it's I would say I know people don't like it and people have judgments on it, but I would say it's the more like well liked centrally beyond people as
Yeah.
a collective group out of all of his
Yeah.
DC films.
It just wasn't the kind of the Superman movie that you can take your kids to see because it's not a family friendly. It's a complete like a fucking dark, mature adult superhero film with Man of Steel.
But you know
can't
who
take,
developed
can't even
that?
take your 8-year-olds. You
Christopher
can't even take your
Nolan.
8-year-old to see BVS.
And Christopher, like you just said, Christopher Nolan developed that. And
Well, no,
and they,
he didn't really develop it. He just took the script that David Goyer and pitched it to WB.
He wrote the
And they,
story
well,
too, man. He
the-
wrote
no,
the
the
two
no,
of
he
them
did not.
were-
No,
the
David
two of them
Goyer
worked
wrote the
together on
script.
the
He wrote a
script.
pitch of it. He wrote a pitch of it, and he gave it to the script to fucking Christopher Nolan, to then give it to WB and see, hey, would you want to do a reimagining of Superman? And they're just like, yeah. And the one who wanted Zack Snyder to direct was Christopher Nolan. He
But still, having
he wanted
Goyer
Zack
in it
Snyder
is
to
still
direct
good.
it.
Like
That was
that's
David
like,
Goyer's fucking script. That was his shit. Like Zack
it's
Snyder just
still,
came in and directed and took his vision and brought it to life.
Yeah, but he came in. Christopher Nolan came in with the idea of like the gritty Superman, and him.
And this was
him
during the
and
time
Goyer
when they
just-
were filming The Dark Knight Rises.
exactly, and that's why I think Man of Steel works so well, is because it was in the vein of what made the Batman trilogy work so
Yeah,
well.
it was more of an Elseworld grounded, realistic story.
Exactly.
that
I
they wanted
remember
to do.
whenever Man of Steel
But also, it was way more for adults because you can't even take your kids to see Man of Steel. This was
He didn't
not.
try to cater at anyone, and that's
No, I
the
know,
thing.
but the thing is, that's why it had mixed response because it was
No,
not
no,
the kind of
I
Superman
agree.
that they were hoping for. Don't get me wrong, I'm the fucking biggest defender out there with Man of Steel. I fucking
I
love
love
that movie to
He's
death.
like, the tornado was right. He shit.
But anyway, like,
Kevin.
because and that's what people were complaining about that movie is that it was not the kind of Superman that they were hoping for. Like he's not the hopeful, joyful, like caring character. He's more of like the demigod mythic figure of Superman in Zack Snyder's world.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think that I really it's definitely getting late for me. At the end of the day, I feel like James Gunn made a very, very good Superman movie. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now because there's a lot of things in the air, a lot of very conflicting things because it's DC, so of course. But it's going to be interesting because in 2 weeks we get Fantastic Four: The First Steps, movie I'm not all that hyped for, but it could be good. Who knows? And so what's going to happen now is the follow through, and we just need to see what happens in the follow through. And do you guys have any final thoughts?
Yeah, for me, like I love the film. I've seen it twice and I liked it a lot more. And I can't wait to see this movie again. It's my second favorite Superman movie. And after watching the film, I think David Cornsweet might be my favorite Superman. Might be. The more I watch it, I think that they wanted to make him more of the more human, more relatable character out there. And we haven't had that in a very long time since like Smallville or with Superman and Lois, that make him more of a relatable character with struggles. And I thought that they really tackled it. And David Cornsweet was definitely born to play this character. He's like the next best casting choice since Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Chris Evans' Captain America. He's that next best thing. And this is an unapologetic comic book fantastical world, and it knows what it wants. And this is like reminiscent to the Justice League animated series. This is reminiscent to Superman the animated series, and I cannot wait to see where this is going to go in the DCU. I'm highly invested. I can't wait. So yeah, this is definitely like hit the mark for me.
I'm also wondering where this is all leading to outside of knowing it's a Justice League film. Because I can't wait to see Swamp Thing, Supergirl, Superman, Guy Gardner team up to wax Lex Luthor's head together. No, but honestly, I'm just glad it was a fun fucking film. You know what I mean? Like, say what you will about the negatives or whatever. It's fun. David Cornsweet's fucking Superman. The dude embodies the role. And honestly, outside of Christopher Reeves, I don't think there's going to be anyone really contending with him. And I think for a while it's going to be the two of them. And it's going to be a hard competition. But you got to see some more. I really like the relationship between him and Lois in this film. I wish we got a little bit more of that. And like you were saying before, Matt, with the whole like Daily Planet crew, I think that got pushed to the side a little bit, even though like it was a pivotal part in context to the story. I wish we saw more of their character dynamics because I really like that scene in the beginning between all of them, and I wish we got more of that. But overall, everyone's casted really well. James Gunn knows what he wants from his Superman and from these characters. That makes me know that like I trust that when I see Superman, I'm gonna get Superman. And I think that's really what people have wanted since Man of Steel. and people that are complaining are never going to be happy. And I think that's really where like the problem is with this film. And it's not the film itself, it's the audience, you know? So I enjoy it, and I'm excited to see it again.
Well, Bryson's going to get a movie ticket now. We persuaded him. So good on
I
you,
think
Bryson.
I think we sold the pitch, his sales pitch to him enough.
Bryson, I hope you enjoy yourself. But what did you all think of this? If you're watching the replay of this, let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. And it is a privilege to have Ryan back on. It's been too long. I told him this in DMs and off air. I hope to have you back on very soon. But it's always a privilege to do things with Matt and with Jacob. So all their links
it was
are
fun. It was fun talking to the other Ryan again after so many years. I mean, it's been like a lifetime ago.
Nah, bro, it's crazy coming back here and talking with you guys. It was really fun, dude. I've had a blast. I really wanted to talk about Superman, and you guys are some great dudes.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Likewise. Well, all their links are in the description. Collins, what do you got coming up?
Well, I got, I gotta go take a piss, and then after that,
You will find him on OnlyFans.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
He always make a joke about OnlyFans, like, hey, you can find me on OnlyFans.
Hey, if you see really large toes on there one day, just know you know them.
No, I just did drop my non-spoiler review for Superman. I think I actually did spoil it. I think when I shoot one of this, I actually do think I said a lot of shit I should have said on that video. But yeah, I dropped my review for Superman, and then of course, I'm gonna try to see Jurassic World Rebirth this week, and then I'll have a review for that. And then after I still have my review for Sinners and Formula One. They're shot. I just got to edit them, and then after that, yeah. And then, and then, of course, we do Talking Gotham every Tuesday. And, that's what we have coming up.
All right, Matt, what about you?
You can find my YouTube channel at Matt Wyatt92. I put out my non-spoiler review for Superman, and then 28 years later in F1. Definitely check that out. And I do Talking Gotham with the rest of these guys.
All right. Other Ryan, you have stuff you want to promote?
Yeah, I just do a silly podcast. Like, it's not really like all that legit with my buddy. We just bullshit about a bunch of films each week. It's called $2 Film Club. Go check it out. And yeah, no, I got some films out there. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never promoted a film like this. So forgive my due diligence, people. But if you guys are curious to see like the films I've produced, go check them out. I'm trying to think. So I'm going through the ones that are like listed publicly in my head, so I don't say like the wrong one, and people go look it up and be like, "Wait a second, this shit's not out for like another year and a half." You can go check out Every Last Breath. That's on YouTube. You can also find all my films on Letterboxd and review them. And then the other one, I think that's the only one that's public. Yeah, Every Last Breath is the only one that's public. So go check that out and go leave it a review on Letterboxd if you guys like it enough. Don't leave me 1 star. I don't want to fluctuate the system.
So 1.5 stars. Here we go.
Fuck!
Like,
just message them. Delete that, please.
It's like,
Yeah, maybe want to go watch Supergirl again.
I'll give you 2 because I'm a pal. But all their links are down below. Go check them out. As far as this channel goes, going to be parlaying into some Fantastic Four content very soon in honor of First Steps. I saw the Roger Corman movie. You will be getting a review of that.
I keep forgetting that we were going to do that road for Fantastic Four. I keep forgetting that we're going to do this.
The
I just
Corman
convinced
one,
my buddy to do it today.
Yeah,
like,
dude, Roger
not
Corman
alive.
made that Fantastic Four movie for 6 cents. For that,
even for Corman,
being
that's
nice,
not even.
boy.
I'm not even joking.
That shit was made
No.
for a potato.
half of a
I actually,
potato would look like.
I actually
Like
met the
Dr.
guy
Doom's palace. Dr. Doom's palace looked like the palace from Power Rangers that the dude pops up in. Like Power Rangers assemble. Like I don't know his name.
Dude,
But-
stop.
Recruit for a teenager of attitude, Alpha.
You know that documentary Doomed? the fantastic making of the Roger Corman?
I've watched it, dude. It's crazy.
I've met the director of the documentary, and he sold me a copy of the movie. And
That's sick.
And he that one he upscaled, and then he also autographed the documentary for me.
Bro, encase that shit.
I have it literally sitting on my movie shelf. I got to take a picture one day and share that.
You got it. That's sick. That's sick.
But yeah, that's what's coming up. I'll also be reviewing the Naked Gun movies as it gets closer to the Liam Neeson one. That's a series I have not even touched, so you're going to get my thoughts on it as a complete noob. So stay tuned for all of that. But for Jacob Collins, for Matt Riot,
Okay, Matt Riot.
Yep, I know what I said.
Fuck.
Close.
You had one job for number one, Ryan. You're the number one. You had one goddamn job.
I am the anchor, Ryan. For Jacob Collins, for Matt White, for the other Ryan. My name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. You all have a very, very good night.